Hello, everyone. This is Rick, and welcome to Astral Club. This is Interview with the Oversoul of Cats. This was a weird one. Before we get into it, though, I just want to talk about Patreon. When you join Patreon, you become a member of Astral Club. You get a chat function where you can talk with everybody, talk about your experiences, direct mail to me, ask questions, give me suggestions about episodes. You get advanced podcasts on Sunday. And if you're interested, there's a link in the description. Next up, astral projection lessons. If you'd like to learn how to astral project or improve your current abilities, be glad to work with you. Nowadays, the Zoom invite allows me to use the AI companion to give you a summary at the end of the class as to what we discussed, which is pretty cool. I also can record the guided meditation that I do at the end, which you can then use yourself at home or to remind yourself how it's done. So if any of that's of interest, check out the description. Okay, interview with the Oversoul of Cats. Couple things first. Humans have individualized souls. Wild animals have group souls or oversouls. So when they die, they go back to the oversoul. If a dog or cat bonds with a friendly human, they can begin to develop an individualized primitive soul. So just be aware of that. Now, I had a dog when I was a kid. At first, my father didn't want us to keep it, but he gave in eventually and he became Snowball's favorite person. Isn't that the way it always works? We had a cat, though, for a few days that followed me home about 55 years ago now. But I guess it was the straw that broke the camel's back. My father, who is a gentle man, acted uncharacteristically and took it out to some field and let it loose. He told us at the time that he'd given it to a farmer. If I bring up the cat, which I very rarely do, he confesses his regret. All of this is to say that I really don't know much about cats. When I decided to project to the Oversoul of Cats, I wasn't sure at all what I'd find. When I regained my consciousness, I found myself in a sun-drenched stone courtyard in an indeterminate plane of existence. I'm not sure where I was. The shadows flickered like dreaming whiskers. The air smelled of lavender, ancient dust, and something undeniably feline. I sat down cross-legged on a warm sandstone slab, but before me lounged, and lounge is putting it mildly, a being of shifting fur and glittering eyes, like 1,000 eyes, 1,000 tails. It changed shape constantly. Sometimes it was a regal Siamese. Other times it was a feral tabby. Then it was an ocelot with a snarky grin. And finally, it was a fat orange tom licking itself aggressively. Okay, I ask, so you're the oversoul of cats? A voice purred inside my mind, carrying just a hint of disdain. Yes, I am the fur being of all Felis. The pattern behind the whiskers. The reason you keep finding fur everywhere in your home den. Charming, I said. You mind if I ask you some questions? It started licking its paws. I mind everything. That's one of our core principles. But I permit you, for now, pet me with your words. Right. Let's start with your personality. What kind of personality does the Oversoul of Cats have? We are a tapestry of contradictions. Neurotic, because the world is full of vacuums and cucumbers. True extroverts. We startle at molecules rearranging. We run mad circles at 3 a.m. because the void whispers our true name. So basically, your anxiety in a velvet wrapper? It kind of grinned like a hairless sphinx with glowing blue eyes. And yet we are dominant, rulers of your homes, emperors of the keyboard, tyrants of attention. We knock over your glasses not out of malice, but to assert the fragile impermanence of your civilization. Ah, existential physics through dishware? Exactly. You also seem impulsive. It started to bite one of its tails. Uh, then it said, "Look, what were we discussing? Never mind. A beam of sunlight has summoned me." As it vanished, I said, "Wait." But then it quickly rematerialized as a giant Maine Coon perched on a pile of golden pillows. I'm back. The sun was too much of a commitment. Tell me about extraversion. That surprises me. I always thought cats were introverts. We are selective extroverts. We thrive on attention, but only on our terms. We want you to look at us, but not too directly. Touch us, but not there, and not now. Actually, now, but never again. So, social, but with rules written in invisible ink and changed hourly. Now you're learning. And what about agreeableness? That seems like a stretch. We are agreeable in moments, soft creatures who comfort the lonely. We curl beside the dying. We stare into your souls, and sometimes we stay, but only because we choose you. So it's conditional love? Is there any other kind? Even your gods require worship. Fair point. So tell me, why are cats the way they are? Suddenly he transformed, if he's the right word, transformed into a sleek panther made of starlight. Because we remember when we were gods, worshipped in Egypt, feared in forests, seen dancing at the edge of campfires. You tamed us, but never completely. We allowed it. You offered warm beds and tuna. It was a fair deal. And now? Now we're in your memes, your bedrooms, your dreams. You mistake our aloofness for mystery. But really, we're just tired of your chaos. We are a species of controlled contradiction. Any advice for humanity? It settled into a loafing position. Nap more. Observe before acting. Knock over what doesn't serve you. And above all, clean yourself emotionally and physically. I think that's pretty deep in a kind of glib way, I guess. I thought about that a little bit. Knock over what doesn't serve you. That makes some sense. And cleaning yourself emotionally and physically, that's something we should all do. Especially the emotionally part, even though it doesn't necessarily smell. But you understand what I'm saying. Okay, I said last question. Do you love us? Suddenly became a kitten, purring like tectonic plates shifting. It was like a real purr. Sometimes, and in the way only a cat can. Which is to say, if we didn't, you'd know. You'd be bleeding. I didn't have a chance to thank the cat Oversoul. It didn't say goodbye. It just vanished. And I suppose that's a pretty apropos departure for such a bizarre Oversoul, but I found it quite interesting. I think I decided, and I guess you'll be waiting for this next week. I decided then to do the Oversoul of dogs. I understand a little bit more about dogs because, like I said, I had one as a child. At any rate, if you like this, please hit the like button, share it with those of like minds, subscribe if you haven't done already, and give me your questions and comments. Have you had cats? Does any of this make any sense to you? Like I said, I only had a cat for a day or two, so I really don't know much about them. Let me know what kind of weird things they're up to, and whether you get along with them or you don't. At any rate, this is Rick, and I will see you on the astral plane.